Welcome to the Healthy Metal Hippie Podcast, where art and wellness collide. Well, hi and welcome back to the Healthy Metal Hippie. Today we are here with my friend Ben. I am really excited to have you here today. We met on TikTok like 5 years ago or something crazy.
Yeah, I started really pushing on TikTok, I think in 21. So yeah, it's been 5 years already.
It's crazy. I don't know. I just felt very happy that we became friends there. And then I mentioned I stopped posting on TikTok. So I'm happy that we became friends other places and we get to continue the adventure.
Absolutely.
You had me at day one because, as I have not mentioned yet, you are an incredible photographer and you bring absolute magic to everything that you do. There's so much beauty. You make everybody look like they're paintings. And you've had, I know people like to say that it's the editing you do or it's AI or whatever, but it's lighting and it's a good photographer. So welcome and thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. When you reached out and messaged if I'd want to do this, hell yeah, absolutely. So thanks for reaching out.
Well, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about what you do in a much better way than I am?
Words are not my strong suit, so I will do my best. So I'm Ben Marcum. I am a portrait, boudoir, and professional headshot photographer based in Louisville, Kentucky. So those of us here in Kentucky do actually wear shoes and can make art and stuff too. So I've been doing this since 2013. Ish, something like that. Before doing this, I was a sound designer and engineer for professional theater. So I've been a working artist in some way, shape, or form since I was around 15. Or people started handing me checks to do it when I was 15, and now the idea of having a real job sounds awful.
You do have a real job. You just enjoy everything about it.
Right. I love every minute of it.
Do you think the theater work that you did that help you with your photography work?
Absolutely. So the way that I design, the way that I worked on shows, I would be in the rehearsal hall from day one with the actors. So as they're figuring out their journey and what they're trying to say as actors, I'm there with them. So I'm reacting to what they're doing in real time. They're reacting to what I'm doing in real time. And it's something, we never talk about it, but you learn to start being able to read the room and read human emotions and how to be a chameleon emotionally to get through that. So that skill transfers through to my photography work as well. I feel like I have to make a connection with everybody that comes into the space. I have to be able to read their energy and meet them where they are as soon as they walk in the door. Those sorts of people skills absolutely transferred between the two genres.
That is a special skill to have in itself, just being able to read people like that, because you do need that. I can imagine that you get all kinds of people through that. Some are, comfortable in front of the camera and other ones are not.
A majority are not. It's very rare that I have somebody walk in and just be like, hell yeah, let's go. Most of the time it's more, especially with the professional headshot work, it's people going, I would rather be anywhere than here right now. And by the time they leave, that opinion has shifted. But yeah, it's never the same day twice in here, which is part of the reason I love doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that before. Oh God, when I had to get headshots done through when I was working in corporate work, you just looked at them and you were like, do I actually look like that? Because if I do, I'm just going to go jump off a bridge because, some of them were just awful. And what I think is you end up bringing out how people actually look, how they look to other people. Because I think there's this big thing that other people find us a lot more attractive than we find ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Where you look at people and you're like, oh, wow, you're the most gorgeous thing to walk the face of the earth. And they're like, not really. But I think you capture that.
And thank you. And yes, that's very much a thing. We all have a vision in the little theater in our heads of what we look like, and it may or may not be accurate. So then when we do see ourselves in a photo or whatever, and we have to go, is that me? It can be a little bit jarring. The other thing is, a lot of us, and myself included, we've programmed ourselves to look for the faults and the flaws. I don't like this about my face. I don't like that. And you're going to find what you look for. So the thing that I try to challenge people to do all the time is to start rewiring the brain, because the brain's really cool. Like, you can change those neural pathways. So like every day, like when you're brushing your hair, brushing your teeth or whatever, look at your face and go, I like that thing. And start looking for the things that you like. And then you're going to start seeing more and more things that you like, and instead of the things that you don't. And it's a process. I work on it as well, but it's, somebody will come in and we'll be reviewing their images together. They can't wait to tell me what they don't like on their face. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, can you fix that? And it's like, we can treat ourselves a whole lot nicer. Let's not do that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is something that you really have to work at. Like, it takes a lot of effort. I was thinking about it not too long ago, but there are things that I would love to change, but I like myself overall a hell of a lot more than I did even 5 years ago.
Sure.
And it's such a nice feeling to look at yourself or think about yourself and go, actually, I'm not half bad.
I am pretty okay. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And it's,
and that's a start, right? It's,
yeah, I'm getting older, and like, I keep like this wasn't this gray even just like 2 years ago. And now I look at it and go, oh, I want it all, like, give it all gray. If you're going to go, you know what I mean? It's like, let's do it. Like, there's a lot more over here. And I'm like, yeah, let's go with it. Like, if I have to age, I might as well look like a wizard, and I'm loving it. Like, let's go.
Yes. But you kind of do look like a wizard, and you kind of are a wizard anyway. So it's like, it's fine. Every time I go to my hairdresser, I'm like, Connor, do I have any whites yet? And he's like, no, stop asking me. But my eyebrows are turning white. Does that count?
Absolutely. See, I started getting them like when I was like 17. Like I remember I was at Purdue at the time in the theater department, and I was in a production meeting. Like, me and the director were sitting there talking, and out of nowhere, he's like, put your head down. And he's like, you've got grays coming in. I'm like, I'm 17. Don't do that to me. What are you doing? The theater life is stressful. Leave me alone.
But I don't know. I think I love gray hair, and I hope that my hair turns like full on white. My hair's been like black now it's got other colors, but it's been black since I was like 16 or something, 15. And I love it. But I've said, when I start going white, it's all going, because I think I'll look really cool with white hair.
Absolutely.
And it adds to that witchiness. Like, black could be witchy, but white is like top tier witchiness.
Exactly.
I think. TikTok and social media in general. You've posted so much, like, behind the scenes things, how you do all of your shoots, how you prepare for them, how you prepare your subjects. Subjects, is that the right word? Your models? I don't know.
It works. Yeah. Subjects, clients, models, anyone kind enough to step in front of the camera.
Yeah. Good. How you prepare them, like how it is after. Like, you've talked a lot about your fitness journey, about your pets, about, you've even talked like a lot about like posing and things like that, right? Like, what was it, like one specific thing that people latched onto? Because you have quite the TikTok following, right? It's impressive.
Thank you. I don't know if there's like one thing that people latch onto. And like, for the longest time, I was really only posting photography content because I was like, I'm marketing the business. And so it's really just been in the past year or two that I've started sharing any of the more personal stuff. And now I'm just completely leaning into it. So much for I've actually started doing a vlog on YouTube as well, a little bit longer form, to be like, no, here's some day in the life stuff, or here's some of my personal philosophy stuff, just to try to show the more, yes, I'm Ben the photographer, but for Ben the photographer to exist, all of these other parts of life have to exist too. So it's, the fitness stuff plays into how I work, because if I'm not healthy, I can't move. If I can't move, I can't work.
Mhm.
The family life stuff, plays into it, and, because that support system, that's, you know, being a good husband and a good son and a good dog dad, and that plays into emotional, and that all ties into the art. So I'm trying to really show more of this is what all of it takes. And, I don't know if it's ever going to really catch on and, people be like, oh, I've got to follow this guy. But if a few people go, oh, okay, I connect with that, I feel like that. So, it helps them on their journey, or they just feel connection.
Mm.
That's huge. So I don't know if there's one thing though that, tripped it, because like a lot of, for me, inside of it, I feel like I'm just screaming into a void, and, it's like, do people actually watch this stuff? So, I don't know.
I think they do. I think sometimes if you think about the boudoir photography and stuff, there's a lot of taboo around it, right? Where
Mhm.
just in general, people go, naughty, naughty, but it's not. And the images that you show, and oh my God, like they're just incredible. I still want to come do a session because
Come on.
I'm like, if I ever looked like that, damn. But
The door is open. You're welcome anytime.
yes, I still, one day I'm going to make that trip. Okay. This is the pinky promise. I'm going to do it.
Perfect. Perfect.
But I mean, everything, it's just so beautiful, and it is art. And I think sometimes people do forget that the human body is art in itself.
They do. And I think we're seeing a pretty significant shift in human sexuality and things, like where things were very taboo in the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, even through the 90s. I think in the past couple of years, people have gotten far more comfortable with going, yeah, but this is me. And this machine that I'm in is really cool. It does a lot of cool things, and it is beautiful. And I think, at least with the people that work with me, I talk a lot about, being inspired by sculpture and things like that. And once people can kind of start wrapping their head around, just because someone is in very little clothing or no clothing, that doesn't mean that that's about sex. It's about line and shape and form and emotion, not about as I keep referencing, not about being a white snake video. Not that there's anything wrong with that style of boudoir photography. I know people who do it. It's not all it has to be. We can do things in a very different way.
And do you think those people that are uncomfortable, I mean, I'm sure I know the answer to this, but the people that come in and they're like, I wanna, but I'm really nervous. They come out, I would assume, with a different outlook about themselves and about the whole process and everything?
I think so. Before anybody ever actually books with me, we have to have a conversation. So because I want them to get a chance to meet me, I want to get to meet them, answer any questions, and talk about how they want to be photographed. Not everybody I work with goes unclothed. And I'm never going to be like, well, you really should. It's like, no, this is your session. We're here to create for you. But I have had people who have said, I'm uncomfortable doing that. And I go, great, fine, dandy. Then by the end of their session go, I feel like I want to try it, and then go. So it's because through the experience, they started to feel different about themselves. And as they start to see themselves in the photos and go, oh, this is beautiful art, they feel different. And so that certainly happens. People kind of go on that journey, and I'm here to help facilitate whatever journey anybody wants to go on.
I would think too, for some people, that it is quite healing. And do you ever stop to think about the fact that you make such a profound difference on people's lives?
It does hit me from time to time. How can it not? I joke a lot and I go, I get to make people cry. And because it happens, I've photographed people and they feel so happy that they cry. So I've created a lot of happy tears. I've gotten a lot of impromptu hugs where people they feel, and that means the world to me. It's like, I am so grateful that I could provide a safe space and a style of art that you resonate with, that it touched your soul. I'm very grateful for that.
I think that is the key of it, though, right? Making a safe space, because that's not a simple task either, but it takes a special kind of person to be able to make that safe, where somebody can, not only physically bear it all, but or most, and emotionally do it too. And especially with, even somebody that they've just had, say, one or two little conversations with, right?
And a lot of it will come down to as well for people. It's like, why are they doing the session? Some people do it just because this sounds like fun and it's what I've always wanted to do. I've had other people who are going through a nasty end of a relationship, and so they want to reclaim themselves, so they feel like them again. A lot of people who've been on fitness journeys, who hit milestones and want to celebrate that, or people do milestone birthdays, or any host of reasons. I don't always know all of the reasons. I know some, but there's sometimes they don't tell me everything, which is also fine. So when their why meets the art, it can be emotional, and it in a really beautiful way.
I think I told you, but I left like a quite an abusive marriage, and for me that was it was part of one of my why things. And you sit there with somebody telling you how disgusting you are, how you're just such a horrible person, and I mean a billion other things, of course, much worse than that. But yeah, and there is that piece of power in like reclaiming yourself and just taking back your power 100%.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It is a powerful thing to do, though.
Yes, it is. And honestly, I'm looking forward to doing my own in the near future. So experiencing it now, I'm probably going to be photographing myself because there's nobody else in my area that does it the way I want it done. But I think it's still going to hold true. I'm putting a lot of work in to get to a place. I want to celebrate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you talking a lot about your fitness journey too?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you've been killing it. Oh my God.
Thank you. Honestly, it's the fitness side of it, but it's also mental. The past couple of years have not been the easiest. And I've spoken about this on other platforms and things. Like I get the joy of living with anxiety and depression. It's the past couple of years have been a struggle, and I'm feeling now like I'm coming out on the other side. Not that it's ever goes away. It's always work in progress, but I don't feel like right now the weight is as heavy. So going, okay, so the emotional weight is less. The machine looks very different. I'll be 50 in 2 years. Let's look at this day. I'm going to be going into 50 a whole lot more healthy in a lot of ways than I have been. So I want to celebrate it. So yeah.
I think that's incredible, and I'm really happy that you're doing that for yourself. I would expect it will be emotional for you too.
I think so. Right now, it's a little uncomfortable in the back of my brain right now because it's still several months away. I imagine the day of, I'm going to be going, what? And I'm committed. I'm doing, but what have I done?
Yeah, well, that's it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You can't just don't punk out.
No. It is 100% happening. So I've got to get my diet back under control. The holidays were not kind to me, but we'll get there.
I'm feeling that. I joined a fitness challenge. Yeah, and then it goes until March, and I'm like, pull it together, girl. I was just talking about it today. I'm like, so some shifts are starting to happen, but I'm like, I could have been so much further already. A few indulgent days for my friend's birthday, and a few just like, whatever. Better watch it.
I can't change what happened yesterday. All I can do is go, here's what I'm doing today. And that's what I'm going to focus on right now. If here it's, all of my triggers are happening right now because like it's cold and snowy and nasty. It's like we are all in like hunker mode. And when I'm in hunker mode, I want carbs and cocktails. So trying to keep that under control.
Yeah, just go for the cocktails.
But go with clear liquor. It's healthier. That's not true. Not even a little.
No. I like my gin though, so.
Yeah, like after
Oops.
work is my vice is a dirty vodka martini, and then after dinner I move to bourbon. So I'm very happy to sit and listen to some records or watch a movie or something with a bourbon and the dog. And now I need to switch to tea. It's fine.
It is fine. It will be fine. Just have your martini and then go to tea, and then you'll be fine. If you cut even that one out, you're going to be cold.
And we're doing, both my wife and I are in it. So it's we've done a great job about reducing, and the big thing really is making lifestyle changes. I grew up in the 80s, 90s, and Weight Watchers and Atkins and all that stuff was and so it's like we all learned bad diet habits, because it was from companies who actually didn't want you to lose the weight and keep it off, because if you lost the weight and kept it off, then they go out of business. So really going, okay, what I eat for comfort, I drink for comfort. So like COVID was, we needed a lot of comfort, and it's saying, okay, address those issues and make small changes. I would rather this whole journey take years and it be sustainable rather than go, I lost everything really fast and then immediately put it right back on. Where small changes, Heather and I were talking about it the other day. This past holiday season, we were less indulgent this holiday season than we were last year. And then coming into January, we were already at a place of, like the shifts had already happened. It's like, I guess everything that all the people who actually know what they're talking about, I guess they're correct. Who knew?
I felt like this holiday I wasn't as indulgent as I was in previous ones either. And like even just simple things like not picking up all those holiday sweets that you get, or, oh, well, it's Christmas, you have to have this. It's like, no, you don't, in fact. I bought chocolate coins for stockings, but I didn't buy anything else. I don't even think I bought like desserts for Christmas. It was great.
Yeah. Like leading up to the week of Christmas, we made a couple small batches of Christmas cookies, but it was small as opposed to years past, or they're just everywhere all the time. And, and then it's so easy just to walk by and go, well, I'm just having one. And then you walk by again later and go, I'm just having one. Then you're like, my belt got smaller. It must have gone through the wash. Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, my leather belt just went through the wash. But I think, Christmas was good this year. And I actually think that this coming year is going to be really amazing too. But I'll tell you, I got engaged over Christmas.
Congratulations.
And I am a happy cat, so
nice.
It's good.
Congratulations. Yeah, my wife and I also got engaged very quickly. We started dating in October of 2008. And we're married in May of 2009. So the fast ones are more fun.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. You can see behind you, you have a whole bunch of your portraits and everything behind you. And maybe, I'm going to put links to all of your work in the show notes, because if you are listening to this, you just have to go look at it, because you'll go, oh my, it's so beautiful. But I think that's one of the most amazing things that you do, how you frame them in these enormous frames, and they look like just stunning, like Renaissance paintings or things like that. And you just go, my God, like I just think about them and they just blow my mind. And I could see how people are very proud to have portraits of themselves like that in their house, right? This is not your 1980s glamour shots. No.
I think the last glamour shots in Kentucky where I am, I think it just closed like last year. So
how did it last that long?
That is a really valid question. And they transitioned a little bit from what they were doing. Like they weren't just all, pop collars and boas. But like they were venturing into professional headshots and boudoir and stuff. It wasn't good, but they tried to change their business model. And
my mom made us have them in like the late 90s. I think we're still all scarred for life. So
it was the thing, man. Like my stepmom and little sister went and did it. And I remember like images, magneted up to the fridge. And they were everywhere. And
yes,
and then at the same time, I was like, are the people who are doing it taking these seriously? Because I don't want to shit on anybody else's stuff, but it's like, but these feel like a joke of it. But if it spoke to some people and they felt beautiful, I guess that's really all that matters at the end of the day. But
it was like, even then, it was like the cheesiest thing ever. And I remember me and my sister were just like, oh, fuck. And I'm sorry, Mummy. And I know you love them because I know you'll listen to this too. But like, she still has them up in her house, I think.
nice.
Man, they're awful. And I don't know. There was nothing glamorous about them then. I'm like, I don't know how anybody could have taken it seriously.
But they survived for a while, so they were doing something that worked for people. So
It's questionable, but it did. And so, do a lot of people though get your photos framed like that?
I sell more, especially like with the portrait and boudoir stuff. I sell more albums because a lot of people do choose to keep them private. But I've certainly done a fair amount of things where we're putting things in big frames and up in people. So, and not everybody's into the big thick gold frames. I obviously am. So we've done different styles of frames with it. But yeah, a lot of people do. I've seen my work over many fireplaces, or if people are doing boudoir work, a lot of times those are going to, bedrooms or, private, bathrooms, dressing room situations.
That would actually be so beautiful.
I always joke with people in here when when a session's going really well, it's like, you're going to need more walls because these are awesome. I know a great contractor. I can send them over.
Well, I've got a whole bunch of just like small things all over my walls, but a lot of my walls are pretty much covered.
It's amazing how much the art becomes part of the soul of the house. We've been very fortunate over the past couple of years to find portraits from the 17th through the 19th century, beautiful paintings. We've had 2 of them restored and whatever. We don't know who these people are, but the emotion of these portraits, it spoke to us. And so they came home and we've named them. We don't know who, like we have Susan, we have Robert, we have the gent. We don't know these people, but if those now weren't a part of our home, the house wouldn't feel the same. Like these portraits are part of the fabric of our vibe. And, it's really cool how art can do that.
I absolutely think so. It definitely transforms your space. I always feel kind of weirded out when I go to a place with like nothing on the walls. I'm like, what's happening in this place? Are you a psychopath or something? What's going on?
Or do you just not plan on living here very long? Like, is this just, an in-between space? And
I think even an in-between space, I'd still be throwing shit on the walls.
Yeah.
But you're right. It kind of makes it a home. It does add to the story of everything. I never really thought about that.
Then my job is I've done something good today. I've added new
You've
thoughts.
done something good. New thoughts. Knowledge incoming. Yeah. So if somebody were to book with you for anything, what kind of prep would you suggest that they do? Like, do they need to have a vision or?
Not necessarily. I will always ask if somebody does have a vision. Like, is there work that you've seen that speaks to you, whether that's my work or whether that's somebody else's work? I like to kind of know where they are, but there's certainly some people who book me and go, you're the artist, do what you do, which is a wonderful, wonderful compliment. So I'm always very appreciative for that. Like, let's say somebody's booking a portrait boudoir session of things. I want to know if they have a vision. I want to know, but then I want to know, who are you? Like, I don't want somebody coming in here and playing dress up. Like, if you would never wear a gown, like for, like let's say you're a black tie sort of thing or a big formal event, you would never ever wear that. Don't feel like you have to do it for portraits. If you feel like the best version of you in jeans and a t-shirt, I want jeans and a t-shirt. Like this isn't there. It's not like one of the souvenir shops where you put on a cowboy outfit and there's a bar scene behind you. And that's that's where everything starts is who are you? What are we photographing? But on the flip, if you would, I did a portrait of my mother and she very much will go full formal thing and be very comfortable in it. So that's what we did, and I knew we talked about where's this portrait going, blah, blah, blah. So, because I need to know, luckily I know her house, but it's like, okay, if it's going over your fireplace, I only have so much space. So I know I need to shoot it landscape rather than, in a portrait orientation and those sorts of things. So it all starts with conversation, and then you get down into the detail of things, and drink your water if you need to do beauty and grooming appointments beforehand. Here's the sort of schedule you should be looking at to do those sorts of things. I feel like I'm painting with very broad brushes.
No, but it's interesting because like for me, I'm like, I don't even know where the heck I would start in like, what do I need to do for this? But I think that's really neat too. And if you kind of have that picture of this is who this person is, and then they say, you're the artist, that gives you a lot of stuff to play with, right?
It gives me a lot of stuff to play with, and it also means I sort of low key need to play detective as we're going, because like you can tell when you're asking people questions or when you're posing people or whatever, what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with. It's body language. It's, the tone of their voice will shift a little bit. So I have to kind of navigate through that to make sure that I'm getting what they feel best about. But like, okay, so let's say that you were booking a session with me, and we were on a consultation call. One of the first questions I would ask would be, how do you want to be photographed? How do you want to be seen in your art? And I can make some assumptions based off of appearance and styling, things with you now. It's like, okay, you're doing the black and the blue hair. That tells me a little bit. I can look at the eye makeup and go, I know where that is. I can pull a little bit, but then I would also, so how would you want to be photographed? How would you want to be seen?
And see, this is where I'd go, because I think I'd probably say I want to appear powerful more than I generally feel on a day-to-day basis.
And
that might be a thing.
What makes you feel powerful?
Feeling like a fairy.
Okay, so
like
you're
magical.
So you're feeling like you'd want to be sort of ethereal in it, sort of soft, kind of flowy sort of vibes.
Yes.
Okay. So like even just that little bit makes me start going, okay, so this tells me, some things I may bring into it, and are we doing standard portrait, fully clothed things? Are we doing boudoir work, less clothing? What are you envisioning? Both?
I think I want both.
Okay. So,
yes.
So with those things, right, that already it's like, okay, so like and I'm hypotheticaling. So I go, okay, so let's say that we're going to do the nude with fabric drape, and we can strategically place fabric. So, if we don't want things seen, then they're not going to be seen. So go, okay, so that tells me what these looks are going to look like. Or at least I start getting the rough idea. If we're doing more clothed looks, then I'm going to start leaning into, what feels that sort of ethereal to you. And I just kind of work through that in the little theater in my head to kind of put together, and I'll throw stuff at people and be like, I'm kind of feeling this vibe. Is this where you were thinking? And they can go, yeah, that's where I'm going, or that's not quite it. And then I can go, okay, well, show me what's it. And we work back. In that regard, it's kind of a collaborative process. This whole thing is a team sport.
And I think that's so cool, because it is like detective, and you work to extract all those little bits out of people, right? And because, yes, if you didn't ask the questions, I would just be like, things, do pictures, and good.
Yeah, because it's not something that we ever actually think about, and a lot of us never think about being the center of attention either. So the time that you're in front of the camera, everything's focused on you. How often do you think about just everything being focused on you? So
I think often we hope it's not, right?
Right? But it's like, if somebody asks me my favorite song, I forget every bit of music I've ever heard in my life. So
Yes.
Same sort of thing.
I'll just say I have a horrible memory that still sticks with that. I went to see Pearl Jam at Hyde Park, and it was amazing. And I love Pearl Jam, okay? And this guy was like, well, what are your like top 5 songs? I'm like, have I ever even listened to Pearl Jam? Do I even know a song? It was very embarrassing, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, that's the thing, you freeze, right?
Yeah.
And it is like everything on you. How do you deflect that energy? But this time you have to like embrace that energy. Right.
Right.
Allow it to all be on you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What would be a piece that you were the most proud of, or a session that you're the most proud of?
Oof, that's a really good question. From personal projects, some of my favorites, I guess, has it been 2 years already? I did my version of the Three Graces, which I love, and not one I can share online because the social media apps are a bit prudish, but I love the Graces. I did a Persephone a couple of years ago that I love. I did a Vanitas series that I love. This one behind me of the woman's back. This is actually the one that started the boudoir side of the business. I actually never intended on being a boudoir photographer. That one will always kind of have a special place. There's so many of them that I love. It's like, pick your favorite child. I'm like, ooh. And as I tell my mother, it's like, it's very easy. It's me. Yeah. There's session, like client session wise, ones that I am, very proud of. There was a woman that I got to work with. She'd been diagnosed with breast cancer and was going to have a double mastectomy. So I got to be a part of her journey before going in for her surgery. So that was very powerful, very emotional. Yeah, God, there's so many. I don't know. I'm very fortunate to get to do what I do for people. So they all kind of live in there.
And it is very special what you do for people, though. So
thank you.
So if people want to get in contact with you, if they want to book or they just want to follow along and look at all your work, where are the best places to reach you?
I am bloody well everywhere. So Instagram, I'm at Ben Marcum Photo, and then I'm also at Boudoir by Ben Marcum because I have to run 2 accounts. YouTube, I am at Ben Marcum Photography. TikTok, I'm just at Ben Marcum. Websites, so my professional headshot website is benmarcum.com. The boudoir website is Boudoir by Ben Marcum. Tried to combine it all under one umbrella for a while, and I just confused the hell out of Google. They did not know what to do with me.
Like, well,
what do you do? So yeah,
I don't even know.
So I've got all that. I've got a Patreon out there where I can show uncensored art. I never show client work there. That's always models that I brought in for content. Same, right. Same style of work. Just I will never put a paying client out on the Patreon. I think that's everywhere that I am. I'm everywhere. And if you Google Ben Marcum, I'll show up.
You're going to be there. SEO king.
There's a Ben Marcum who's a tattoo artist down in Florida. That's not me. You don't want me doing your tattoos. It would be a mess unless you want a disaster permanently on your body, in which case I can help.
I think we'll stick to photography with you.
Probably for the best.
Well, Ben, honestly, thank you so much. It's been super fun, and I'm just really happy that we got to connect. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Healthy Metal Hippie podcast. For more ways to connect, go to www.healthymetalhippie.com.